our first named legendary lord is Tyrion. So he is our melee warrior, I would say, right? He's quite strong.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. And
probably one of the most skilled fighters in the Warhammer universe.
Oof, that's a high claim. So tell us a little bit about his combat abilities.
We've classified him as a duelist.
Cool.
Which in Total War Warhammer means he's good against really, really strong targets, but flattens off against, let's say, a pack of goblins. He's still going to eliminate a pack of goblins, but if you're using him against chaff, then you're not using him correctly. To get the most out of him, you want to throw Tyrion at the biggest, strongest enemy there is out there.
Cool.
He'll do well against pretty much any hero, any lord, anything that comes by itself. He'll put up a really good fight.
Awesome.
And once he's on his mighty elven steed, Malhanda,
yep.
He will have a horse that is barded in really good armor, but still has the speed and grace of all your elven steeds. It's mental to move something that quickly over the battlefield with that much force attached to it.
We have Teclis. So Tyrion and Teclis are actually brothers. Tyrion was, tall and strong, and Teclis just wasn't, but he did have this insane mastery of magic.
Right, so he's the squishy one. That is the technical term for a unit or hero that can die easily. And we gave him this potion for that reason. So this potion takes away a bit of your magical powers in favor of more survivability. So it's a choice you can make during battle when you think, okay, I've casted enough, right now I'm surrounded by people, I really want to survive the next minute. You swallow this potion.
So does it take from your pool of the winds of magic?
So the potion will just mean that Teclis can't really focus on magic at the moment. The mana will not regenerate as quickly.
Yep.
But then he might survive the day to use it on next battle.
So for our generic lords, we have a prince and princess. Okay.
Prince comes with shield and sword and in heavier armor. So he's your melee brawler kind of hero. And for the princess, we picked the sword and bow option with lighter armor. So it makes sense for her to have the faster elven steed without the barding. Both of them have the potential to end up on the Star Dragon, and then either you've got this awesome prince, awesome melee on a Star Dragon, or you've got a princess with a bow on a Star Dragon. No one will complain about either. They're awesome. On campaign, you can't just hire the best of the best. If you really want the best lords or best princes and princesses to hire, or best characters in general, you have to invest some of your political power.
So we'll go on to our heroes. So there's 3 of these. So we've got Lawmaster of Hoeth. This is a melee / magic user. We have Mage, caster, and we have Noble, which is our melee champion. So tell us a little bit about those.
Lawmaster of Hoeth.
Hoeth.
He's actually a lord in tabletop. What we selected to do is a hero with the power of a lord. He is one of the most powerful heroes we've created to date. We wanted to have a faction flavor just like the Lizardmen have for High Elves. So we took the martial prowess and reinterpreted it a little bit. When they've been through a battle, when everything is full of blood and there's some dents in their shields, that really affects them. And what also affects them is that this insane amount of training they do to harmonize the moves with one another, to work as a perfect unit. Once 2 of your mates fall, you don't have that effect anymore. The more people get injured or die, the less the perfect harmony you as a fighting group have worked on comes to display. So the melee power of the High Elves will very much depend on how strong they are based on their total hit points. So you can't...
So the unit strength as a whole?
Yes.
Right.
So when you look at the health bar, as long as it's above 50%, you're fine. If you found yourself just coming from campaign, just having fought a battle, or your units are half depleted, now you're in a really bad position as a High Elf player. They do not like to be in that space. They like to prepare for battle. They like to be there and to have peak performance and not to have to endure it over and over again. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening to them as a civilization. They're surrounded by enemies. So that's a bit of the dilemma that people will face on campaign, to manage their army, to keep it in fighting condition, to keep it replenished and the gear in excellent condition. between battles. So the melee dudes, the spearmen, rock solid, spear elves, you should call them probably, with a really nice tower shield, which is a common option for the high elves, which is awesome against missiles, in case you hadn't guessed. Just buy you tons of time, and they're the lowest tier. And then it goes up to the white lines of Crace, then it goes up to the sword masters, and then the most elite are the Phoenix Guard.
Okay.
So the white lines and the sword masters and tabletop are more or less on the same level. We chose to add a bit of progression there. That doesn't mean the white lines are bad. They've got a great axe. They've got a line cloak that helps them against missiles, any kind of missile deflection. So they won't need a shield because they've got this awesome cloak. They'll just turn around, catch a couple of cannonballs with that, and then march straight on. They are originally woodsmen, believe it or not. Now they're a bodyguard unit, but historically they came out of the woods. So we've kept that affinity to woods.
So let's move on to missile infantry.
Archers have longbow, which is a very neat weapon to have for your cheapest missile infantry unit. Highest range of this sort of missile infantry. Yes, the Wood Elves have the Way Watchers, but in the early game you'll not find another missile unit with this range.
So the longbow applies to the archers with light armor also?
Yeah, only to those two, because the Northern Sea Guard, they have a spear.
Okay.
And if you have a spear and a longbow, that's a bit of an awkward combination.
Yeah.
And then the Northern Sea Guards with shields, believe it or not, they have shields. And
Wow.
they've got the tower shields that the High Elves are famous for. Normally, cavalry counters missile infantry, so you've got your cavalry charging at your Northern Sea Guard. They'll be firing with their bows, and then suddenly cavalry, just before they reach them, they'll drop the bow and hold the spear in front, which horses don't like to run into.
No.
So this is a unit which is really, really good as a missile unit, but also good against cavalry. And then if you give it a shield, it becomes good against other missiles too, which means they're not afraid of much. There's not much left.
No.
Maybe a Bastiladon. Let's start with the Illyrian Reavers.
Go
They're
for it.
your lightest cavalry as a high elf player, and that means they've got Vanguard, which is quite nifty. You can place them in a forest during deployment.
I love Vanguard.
Enemy starts moving towards you, and then out of nowhere, your Illyrian Reavers charge ahead into the backs of artillery. This is an army that's not very stealthy. They like to show off their nice armor and banners. So the Illyrian Reavers gives you that little edge, if you want to be a bit meaner and hide.
And the Dragon Princes, what can you tell us about
Dragon Princes are, they're like the pinnacle of, if you talk about arrogance of the elves, they're probably the pinnacle. They are.
Why?
They are quite full of themselves.
Oh.
I think historically they actually rode dragons back in the day. Now they clad their horses in armor that makes them look a little bit like dragons.
It's kind of cheating.
A little bit, but it is just as good against physical damage. I believe we've done it. Yeah, physical and fire damage, much more so against fire damage. So let's say your Iron Drakes shooting at these guys, they won't really care much.
The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower.
2 fire modes, a little bit different for us. First fire mode, one big pack of connected arrows or bolts, 13 bolts. Go straight for the heart of a giant. That's how you want to use them, large targets, single targets. But you can press a little button, and then they'll fire 13 individual arrows, which is...
But weaker.
Yeah, you can call it scattershot, so we call it multi-shot, I think. So you've got just one artillery piece in this army, but it's useful against both single targets that you normally attack with cannons, or massive hordes of infantry.
Our Flame Spire and our Frostheart Phoenixes. So please explain the difference between the two of these. I mean, bar the obvious, one is on fire.
Let's start with one that is not this one, but the one with the flames that you hopefully know from if you just type in High Elves and look for the most beautiful unit, you'll probably find the Phoenix, the Flame Spire Phoenix. It's obviously resistant to fire because it's mostly made out of fire. It's a Phoenix that is so attuned to magic, it becomes more resilient and stronger if your mana is high.
Oh.
So this is the kind of unit you want to use, for example, if you don't have a mage with you, we just assume there's enough winds of magic around. Once you start using a lot of winds of magic, this unit will become weaker. But it's just, it's doing justice to the tabletop rule there, and it's a neat little thing where you normally as a high elf you'll probably feel a bit bad for not bringing a mage to a battle. You'll feel a bit less bad if you've got your Phoenix outperforming every second of it.
Yeah, because you can harness those winds of magic to fuel your Phoenix.
Yeah, he's quite resistant. He's got the wake of fire. It will carpet bomb. It's very fast, so you can just move over the entire line of the army quite quickly, carpet bomb the army with the wake of fire, go in for the kill. And if that wasn't good enough, it's a Phoenix, so it can be reborn. If the health drops too low, if it's about to die, there's a 50-50 chance roughly that it will come back from the dead. Not with full health, but
still.
Who cares at that point? You'll just be cheering along.
And a Frost Heart.
The Frost Heart is actually this blue fella here. He's a super tanky version of the Phoenix. He doesn't have the wake of fire because he's covered in ice, and he emits cold, which just means when you want to strike at him, your arm gets really slow. He's someone who will take tremendous amounts of damage for what he costs as a beast, and also he's got this blizzard aura around him constantly, which just means that everyone around him will be debuffed and do less damage. So
I can already see the battle in my mind where he's just soaking up loads of damage, but also emitting the frost.
Yeah. The Sun Dragon is the smallest and youngest of the dragons.
Gotcha.
He's like a juvenile dragon. He's probably still several hundred years old. I don't know, 1,000 years old.
Juvenile dragon.
He's a bit hot-tempered. He's a bit wish-wash, bit all over the place. He does the fire breath, but not in the most focused manner. So his flames will just go a little bit everywhere, which is great if you're attacking like goblins.
Yeah.
If you're attacking like a large horde, that's actually what you want. But they're the most wild of the three dragons because they are the youngest. But it's just a phase they go through, and you really have to just be there and support them as much as you can. And then you go on to the Moon Dragon, which is in the middle area, more focused fire breath, a bit stronger fire breath, but not quite yet able to just melt Gromril armor or whatnot. A stronger dragon, more pricey, just better in every aspect a little bit. And then the Star Dragon is the best dragon in the game. Most expensive in the game, let's say that.
Yeah.
And also has the best fire breath because it's, the others are more like flames.
Like bursts?
Yeah, this one is like a Death Star. Whew. This is a laser nearly coming out of him. This is so hot, it will melt any known armor.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. We'll have to see how that goes down. The only thing that might now stop an outcry is that you can't cast it constantly. There'll only be like 2 to 3 casts for these.
So you
fire
can't
breaths.
do it. There's only so many.
There's going to be a cooldown on them. You can only fire them when you're in the sky, when you're flying. So if you're down on Earth, you can't just hit someone in the face with it. But it's a very powerful ability.
Awesome. And that is our High Elf roster revealed.